welcome to the Mega Gamecast, episode number 9. I'm your host, Ryan Shepard, and with me I have Cy Cuddy and Drew LaPointe. How's everyone doing?
I'm doing well, Ryan. How are you today?
Not too bad. So did everybody get everything they wanted for Christmas?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah? Let's go around the table. Let's go around the table I got for Christmas, and everybody can say at least one thing they got for Christmas. What'd you get, Cy?
Well, Ryan, I actually got The Witcher 3.
Woo!
So, yeah! It's a game I have been wanting to play. It was on my list of games, like I said, that I wish I had experienced in 2015.
Mm-hmm.
I have just started playing it, just the entry levels. So far, I'm enjoying it. It's a very well-made game, and I'm gonna see where it goes.
You got that on PS4?
I got it on PS4. It was given to me by my brother, and it was very thoughtful of him. So
cool. Well, I hope you enjoy it, because that's my game of the year.
Absolutely, Ryan.
So, Drew, what'd you
Dude,
get?
I got your other game of the year from my brother.
Yeah, what was that?
Starring Rico Rodriguez.
And the toilet.
Cause 3. I know. Yeah, that explosion, man, it really looks weird. But yeah, I don't know. I haven't even taken it out of the cellophane yet because I'm debating whether I'm going to to keep this game or not. Not like, no offense to like the people who bought it for me, but I don't know. We'll see. Like, because I'm interested and I'm not.
Yeah, I mean, it's
only because of like
you have an idea of whether or not you're gonna like it or not based on gameplay and stuff you see.
Yeah, and like that's the thing. Gameplay is all about it in that game, and the fact they took out like some mechanics that worked pretty well in Just Cause 2, and added all these like races and stuff you have to do to upgrade your weapons. That's the part that kind of turns me off.
Well,
like
maybe
the actual
you can...
gameplay and doing all the wingsuit and parachute, like all that stuff's awesome. Yeah. It's fun. Well, that's the thing. So
well, maybe you can return it and get The Witcher 3.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because I
you
want
and Cy can play it together.
Right. See who gets through it first.
Yeah.
And Ryan, what did you get for Christmas?
Well, I got this table that we're podcasting on. I needed a new table for my apartment. The one I had before was a little bit too big for the room, so I got this one. My parents were kind enough to pitch in. And I didn't get anything gaming related, believe it or not.
Okay.
I got just some stuff I needed, around the apartment and everything like that. Nothing too exciting. I wish I had something more to talk about. I got myself some Steam games on Steam during the Steam sale.
You got through to it? Yeah?
Yeah. This was more like before and after.
Okay.
I picked up Remember Me for like $6.
Oh, there you go.
Which was, I thought, a pretty good deal. And so this will give me an opportunity to talk about this a little bit. I picked up, for 99 cents, I picked up the first episode of the new King's Quest reboot.
Okay.
I just figured I was going to check it out on PC for 99 cents. And I think I'm going to play it on PC from now on because the Xbox One version has some insane performance issues.
Okay, yeah.
Like really long load times, which is usually a lot faster on PC anyway, but there's a whole lot of frame rate hitching on the Xbox One version.
Huh.
Going into new areas, there seems to be a lot of issues loading the new areas.
And that doesn't happen in
It doesn't happen on the PC version.
Yeah, that's great because it's a very linear like game. You'd think that transitioning from one area to the next wouldn't.
Yeah, it's very strange because it's like you said, it's linear and there isn't a whole lot going on. There's not like a whole bunch of characters on screen.
Like it's a very nice art style and all, but it's definitely not like...
It's not like an open world where you're loading a gigantic amount of information. You're just loading these kind of narrow levels that, really shouldn't take much horsepower, but I feel like it has a lot to do with just maybe a little bit of laziness on the developer's part.
Well, maybe the developer. Yeah.
Yeah.
He probably just didn't put over a good port.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of that, I think, usually there's one version at least that doesn't get the attention it may deserve.
Oh, yeah, I know that happened a lot last gen with the PS3 always got crappy ports compared to, well, at least the first few years of its life.
Yeah.
360 got the superior ports because they were developed on 360 and they put it over to the PS3 and came out kind of crappy.
And even this year we've seen Arkham Knight not coming out very well on the PC.
Yeah. And
Fallout 4 not having a very good console launch. With the Xbox One not being the worst of the two consoles, but both of them not really getting excellent version of that game that they deserve.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's patched up and better at this point, but like when they first came out, like obviously the PC was probably the superior, But
yeah, it's just disappointing when you can't,
Yeah, because
bet on one
consoles should
platform.
just be like rock solid, especially with a smaller game like that
Yeah,
comes
there's
out
really
in
no
chapter
excuse.
form.
Yeah,
like
it's really too bad. But I like Chapter 2. There'll be a review, probably out by the time you listen to this. I did a review of it. There'll be a little video thing that goes with it. I like Chapter 2. It wasn't as good as Chapter 1, but I looking forward to seeing where they go with it because they set up a couple things at the end that's could be cool moving forward. Basically, Chapter 2 is just one gigantic puzzle.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's like a lot of a puzzle game too.
Yeah, that's basically what the game is a series of puzzles, which is a little bit different than like a Telltale game, which is more dialogue driven, story driven.
Yep.
This is more like traditional adventure games where you find items and then you need to use them on different items in order to progress.
Yep.
And Chapter 2 was just one gigantic one of those. You just keep finding items and trying to figure out how to balance certain things, and it was cool. And like I said, I'm looking forward to where they go in Chapter 3.
So what is this going to be, a 5-chapter thing?
I think so. That's how many there are on the menu, so I think that's going to be 5. I don't know if they're going to do a King's Quest 2 with another 5 chapters later on, but I think the first chapter got a pretty good reception, so it looks like they're going to keep going with it, which is good because I really liked it.
Great. So why don't we deviate a little bit from the norm and let's talk about how we spent our Christmases this year, boys.
All right, yeah, just pretty standard. Christmas Eve, I go to my mom's side of the family. Somebody there on that side has Christmas Eve. In this instance, it was my aunt. And, man, we had some good food. She has a store that she sells prepackaged food that she cooks herself. Like, it's not like frozen food or anything like that. She cooks it, and then she puts it in like a refrigerator. She has a whole store full of it, and people come in and buy it. And so she's really good at cooking, and she made some awesome food, and it was delicious.
Delicious food is good.
And then Christmas Day, we go to the other side of the family, and then to my parents' house, and exchange gifts, food? Just hang out. Yeah, eat more food, and exchange gifts, and all that good stuff.
Oh, that's great, Ryan. Yeah. Basically, what I did, I went back to my parents' house. We had a nice turkey dinner. We exchanged gifts, and we actually watched a movie called Love and Mercy, which is based off the life of Brian Wilson of the Beach Boys. And it actually brings me to a funny story that I actually met one of the members of the Beach Boys. I was an infant. My parents took me on a vacation. They were staying at the Watergate Hotel, and Al Jardine, one of the members of the Beach Boys, actually is in the elevator and actually introduces himself to me and my family. So It's kind of interesting. I was making celebrity connections since I was in diapers. So I will say that if you are looking for a movie, Love and Mercy actually is very good. It has a great soundtrack, and the performances are very good.
Cool.
So it definitely is an interesting movie to check out.
If you're a Beach Boys fan, check it out.
If you're a music fan in general, or if you like documentaries about, movies about mental illness, I would check it out.
Okay.
Because Brian Wilson had a lot of issues. He was a brilliant songwriter and composer, but he had a lot of mental issues and was taken advantage of by a psychiatrist.
Oh, okay.
An extremely unethical one. So, but I would definitely check it out. I think you guys would like it.
Cool.
So
what about you, Drew?
It moved you.
It didn't move me as much as it intrigued me.
Yeah.
No.
But no, like not to like copy-size story, but like something similar happened to me when I was a baby, meeting a celebrity. Like my parents had taken, I believe, a vacation in New York City. They were walking the streets, and I guess like they ran into Robin Williams, and
oh, cool.
Like he like waved and said hi to me, and shook their hands and stuff.
But you don't remember it?
No, I was like in a stroller or whatever.
Oh man,
so.
I would have loved to meet Robin Williams.
But yeah, like they always tell me like that story. Well, they had told me that story a few times, so no, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I wish I remembered it.
Yeah, that was a shame when he Passed away.
Yeah, it was so tragic. I
Yeah,
mean, the guy was a brilliant comic and a brilliant actor, and he had amazing range. I mean, he was a great dramatic actor as well.
Yeah, no, he was awesome. Yeah, I loved most of his work that he did. But yeah, I don't know. Like, what did we do? Just didn't really do much on Christmas Eve. Just chilled at home, played some games.
Yeah.
And on Christmas Day, like my brother comes over. I actually cooked chicken marsala for the family. We did our yearly.
Yeah, that's right. You're a cook.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I do my cooking here and there. We did our yearly. Well, we sat and ate dinner, and then we did our yearly family movie. We watched Good Old Christmas Vacation.
No, it's a classic.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
It's still hilarious to this day, dude. But I don't know. We were gonna watch the new one that came out, like the new Family Vacation movie or whatever, like the reboot, whatever they did. It came out like last year, this year.
I didn't even know that happened. I was just recently hearing about that.
Yeah,
I was like,
dude,
what? They redid Vacation?
We were gonna get it on demand, but everyone had a little too much to drink last night, so it's kind of an early night. But no, it was a good time. You know, got some gifts, got some boxers. You know, the usual.
Good old boxers.
Ate some cookies.
Yeah, you mentioned watching movies, and I did my traditional watch, Die Hard.
Oh,
That's my Christmas movie. Man, that game is so good. That movie's so good.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
Yep. Still a classic.
Dude, oh yeah, and we watched our classic Jingle All the Way, dude. Arnold Schwartz.
And Sinbad.
I know, Sinbad, dude. Dude, some of the things he says in that movie is freaking crazy.
Sinbad,
it must have at least been like PG-13 or PG, some of the
probably.
stuff.
So
Good times.
what does anybody have any New Year's resolutions?
Well, Ryan, I'm already perfect, so I really can't say I have.
Christ.
No, but in all seriousness, my New Year's resolution is to get off nicotine products. Stop the e-cigs, cigarettes.
That's
all of
positive.
That. No, it's something I want to do.
Yeah, I'm not really a big New Year's resolution guy, but I'm going to try to keep it gaming related with this and play games in genres that I don't usually enjoy. Like just check them. I mean, just a little plug here. Me and Drew are going to be playing through The Last of Us.
Oh, yeah.
So that'll be a big step for me because I don't know how vocal I've been about it on this podcast, but I'm not a huge fan.
Quips. Yeah, you made your quips.
I'm not a huge fan of it. I've actually tried to play through it a number of times and only get to a certain part, and I stop. I'm hoping with Drew here to guide me that maybe we'll get a little bit farther and maybe actually complete it. So that'll be the first step.
We'll get through it.
And then I'm going to definitely try Uncharted 4 when it comes out. And
nice.
Yeah, I'm just going to...
basically like action, like or adventure kind of games.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Naughty Dog games.
Naughty Dog games. I don't know. That's hilarious, dude.
Anyway, I'm also going to try Scalebound, which kind of sounds like a little bit of a different style of game that I'm not used to.
Dude, that supposedly I heard you can play through it like 4-player co-op or something.
Oh,
like
really?
Even on couch.
I haven't heard that yet.
So we might be able to actually do like all of us.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
That.
So that's like not 100% of a Western RPG. It looks like there's some JRPG mixed in there a little bit.
I guess,
so
yeah.
That looks kind of cool.
I don't think it's turn-based though. Like,
no, it looks like it's real-time combat.
Yeah.
But a lot of JRPGs are going that way now.
But then again,
Final Fantasy VII Remake is that. Final Fantasy 15 is real-time.
Yeah.
So they're kind of going away from that. But I guess probably the other game I'm going to check out is Quantum Break, which kind of falls into that The Last of Us Uncharted category where it's a little bit more narrative-driven than I usually go for because, I'm a gameplay guy, certainly over story. But I think that looks pretty cool. I think it's a little weird that they're doing this TV thing.
Yeah, that's the only part of that game I'm not too sure
I don't know how that's going to work out, but we'll see how it goes. So that's my New Year's resolution. Try things I'm not super comfortable with in terms of gaming. Oh, and VR. VR is probably going to be something there that I've never tried. I'm definitely willing to try that, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it'll definitely make an interesting experience, Ryan, because, I will want to try it out. I'm not really too optimistic about this coming out, but doesn't mean I don't want to give it a try and just see what it's like.
Be cautiously optimistic about it.
Sure, why not?
So what about you, Drew? Anything on the docket?
I guess first things first would be I'm like pretty much right away at the beginning of the year. I'm gonna be looking to get like a legit paying job that I very much need right now. And let's see. I hope our our channel, we can expand it bigger than it is into the future.
Put some effort into that. Extra effort.
Well, yeah, all of us put some more effort and like just keep going like we've been going. You know, I want us to just keep growing as we've been going, and you know, the group too, GamerHolics.
Yep.
Shout out.
We're pushing forward. We're doing pretty well right now for this these last few weeks, and we hope to really keep up the momentum.
Yeah, keep the momentum going. And yeah, no, I'd like to try out some, you know, games that I probably normally wouldn't. So
yeah, I think you're interested to maybe play through Gears of War for the first time.
Oh yeah.
All right, so we'll have to do that.
Yeah, I mean, like I'd probably, if I had a 360 available at the time and I had heard about it more, like that is the kind of game I definitely would have been playing. But no, even I don't know, like I gotta even give the original Mass Effect trilogy more of a chance than I did. To like, I think the RPGs is something that I still have to like get myself more into.
Yeah,
for sure. Like, so even like
RPGs can be tough to get into, especially if you don't have the roots.
Yeah,
like,
the roots.
Wrapping your head around some of the mechanics can be a little overwhelming. But we'll get you through it, Drew.
Yeah, we'll get you through it. You know, the slow paced stuff. Sometimes I get bored by it. I think that's what it is.
Yeah, sometimes there's a lot of grinding, and sometimes a lot of menus you're going through to figure out what do I got to get rid of so I can walk again.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I know they've modernized that, but
yeah, they've done some things to make it a little bit more accessible.
But in some ways, I feel like in some of these like RPGs, you have all this shit going on that it kind of compromises the core gameplay. You know, like it's not as good as like.
Well, Mass Effect's a good one to do.
Yeah,
because
for sure,
definitely.
Maybe not the first one, but the second and the third are.
First one doesn't have the greatest gunplay.
A little bit lighter on the RPG and more on the story and the action.
Yeah, but like a lot of people, even to this day, say that like you're doing yourself a disservice by skipping the first one. Because even even Cy Cuddy told me to skip the first one and just start with the second and go to the third. Because a lot of people do say that, but
if you want the story and you want the like final thing to feel like it really means something to you, play them all on the same platform and make sure your saves carry over.
Yeah, no,
right, absolutely.
The Mass Effect trilogy that came out on, I believe, 360 and PS3, like they have this thing that everything carries over. Like,
they do. So like I played them all on Xbox 360, and my character, when they came out, it wasn't like in a collection or anything like that.
Yeah.
So it was built in from the beginning to bring your characters over from the previous game. And you know, unfortunately I went with kind of a generic looking character, so I didn't really have that unique of an experience. But it was cool to have some of those choices carry over because there are like people you interact with that interact with you different.
Yeah.
And there are people that, you know, not to spoil anything because it's kind of an older game now though, but there are people that you choose can live or die.
Oh yeah.
And those people will not be in the
feature games. Yeah, the sequels.
Yeah, see, that's what's even like, you know, I mean, Telltale has they have elements of that, but it's still like one or the other. But like, I know Mass Effect goes way, way deeper. So no, it's something like I had the trilogy and I ended up like I had a hard time getting into that first game, and I would put it down, and then eventually I sold it. So I gotta just get it back and give it another chance. You know?
This is a good time to do it because Mass Effect Andromeda is coming out later this year. And that brings us to our topic of this podcast, and that is games and gaming-related things that we're very interested in for 2016.
Our most anticipated.
Most anticipated. So let's go back to me mentioning VR, and that's probably the biggest, as far as technology thing that's going to happen this year.
Yeah.
We hope it's going to happen this year because it seems like there's a lot of indication that they're all kind of dropping beginning or middle of 2016.
Yeah.
So let's start out with PlayStation VR, which is probably going to be the most accessible to everybody, and
probably going to be the most high profile, I would say. Like,
well, I don't know about that. I think Oculus has a lot of following because it was
that's the Facebook one, right?
Yeah, that's the one that Palmer Luckey kickstarted and then Facebook bought, and I think that has a lot of clout because it was the one that kind of started this march toward VR, so to speak.
Yep.
And that of course that one runs on PC.
Yeah.
Not a console specifically.
Yeah, that's what's going to be interesting. The difference between like what PC does with it, what console does with it.
Yeah, because I mean, with a PC, you can just kind of throw as much hardware as you can at it to get the best experience. Whereas with like PlayStation VR,
it's going to be whatever the system's capabilities.
The system's capabilities are, and there's going to be probably a box that comes with it that you plug into your PlayStation, so that's doing most of it. And the experiences on it could be exclusive, whereas with the Oculus they'll probably be on PC and across all sorts of different platforms.
There's many different ways they can end up taking this.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be very interesting, and I think Sai's move to be sort of optimistic is probably the right way to go. Cautiously optimistic is the way to go, because who knows what these first games are going to be? Who knows if these things are going to be worth it when they first launch? One game that I'm very interested in that seems to be timed anyway, to release with PlayStation VR is No Man's Sky, which, if that ends up being true and you can buy a PlayStation VR bundle with No Man's Sky, I think that's going to be a really good game to
definitely.
First experience in VR.
I feel like that'd actually be the type of game that'd be enhanced by some kind of VR, like if they did it right.
Yeah,
because the thought of like flying around planet to planet in like this big space system. That, what is it? What kind of generated? It's
procedurally generated.
Yeah, procedural generated.
So that's a little bit of a different procedurally generated than we're used to. Like, when we talk about procedurally generated, we usually talk about Minecraft or something like that, where every time you start the game, it's brand new. It's a brand new level or a brand new world. But in this case, they've already procedurally generated the entire galaxy, and that's what's going to be given to you, an entire galaxy that's procedurally generated. So it's not being generated on the fly. So they actually are able to go through. You can look up the way that they're doing this. I guess they have a way that they've been able to organize all of these planets that have been created and make sure that there aren't any duds. Like they'll look at them and they'll be like, "There's too many blue planets, so let's get rid of some of these blue planets," or something like that. That has to be just an insane task to do, which is probably why it's taking them so long to finally get this game out.
Yeah, I mean, because I'm not like 100% sure about this, but like they don't have like the biggest budget to work with.
No, it's like 4 guys or something, and they were indie until Sony kind of stepped in and was probably giving them some funding to make it at least a console exclusive for some time on PlayStation 4.
Yeah, like because they have been kind of promoting it as like one of their top tier games coming out
for a long time now, which is kind of like, I was a little hesitant to put it on the list of most anticipated games, because I think it's been my most anticipated game for like 2 years now.
Yeah.
And it's like, just get this game out.
Yeah.
But I think from what I've seen of it, it's going to help VR push it forward, because it's kind of there's traditional elements in it. This isn't like a completely new thing. It's a first person game, which we've had forever. There's some sort of combat built into it. You have a gun. So that's very relatable. We've all played first-person shooters. And to have these worlds that you can just be totally immersed in, a new one conceivably every time you land your spacecraft is just, it's crazy.
Yeah, no.
It's been crazy since the first time they showed it.
The possibilities, it makes it sound like it's endless possibilities pretty much. And
I guess we'll see what it actually ends up being. I so hope that it's what it needs to be, but I'm very realistic in my anticipation of games.
Yeah.
Like I try not to get things blown too much out of proportion.
Yeah, because if you do that, you'll always end up disappointed.
Yeah, it's happened to me too many times, so I'm just like, okay.
Yeah.
No Man's Sky is coming out, and it looks cool. Take that at face value, and hopefully it ends up being good.
And one thing I wanted to say about VR too is that I heard this idea come up a couple times that like, what if VR, specifically I guess PlayStation VR, it comes out, you put this headset on and it like somehow, and it happens to work with even like traditional games, like you play with your controller, like you put that thing on your head and like you kind of like, even if you're not actually in the game, you can like still like play something like say Uncharted 4. You have the headset on, and suddenly you see the whole the whole game is in front of you with this, and all you hear is the game,
and it's blocking everything else out.
Yeah, like you're blocked out, and you're like just in that game. I've heard like that could be something Sony ends up doing with this, and if that is the case, that'd be kind of a new way to. I mean, I think a big part of it is if this headset thing is actually comfortable. Because I think that's going to depend big. But like even if they do something like that just for like games that aren't VR intended, I mean, that'd be another cool way to use it.
Well, I think that's what... there was one conference that... I think it was like a pre-E3 thing that Oculus got out on stage and actually showed a demo with Xbox One of something similar to this.
Yeah.
Where it was like a VR room where it wasn't... the Xbox games weren't actually 100% VR, but... when you put the headset on, like the whole, like it was like a virtualized room that had elements of the game kind of being projected onto it.
Yeah.
So it was like a full immersive experience, but you were still just had like the traditional 16:9 screen in the middle of it.
Yeah.
With the game actually running, and then just like enhancements around it to make it.
And the person had a controller. They were using.
The person was having a controller. Yeah. So I think that's because I believe. I don't know. I don't know 100% with this, but I believe the indication of that was that you could plug the Oculus Rift into the Xbox One and get some similar experience to that.
See, like even if they did something like that, I mean, just for regular games.
Yeah.
I mean, like obviously a lot of our expectations and like opinions are going to center around the VR intended games. Like what kind of experience are we actually going to get from that? We can't really know for sure until...
Right. And it's also worth bringing up that VR, from a historical standpoint, has not been very well received. Maybe that's because they didn't have the technology at the time to make it successful, and they were very limited in their options.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, that's the thing. Like, how... Are we finally going to see this big advancement in technology that starts actually like catching on and takes over?
Yeah.
Or maybe not take over. I think video games are always like there's the option to play with a controller and a TV or screen at least will always be there. But
it's not going to be like
maybe
a huge
VR
sea change where everything is going to.
I think VR will be a great second option if it works. You know.
So I've thought about this before and like why some of us are feeling like. There's a lot of stagnation in the games that are coming out, and a lot of it comes down to not a whole lot of big technology shifts.
Yeah, that's true.
When you think about it, the last big thing there's a couple of things, but you could talk about like open world was probably the last big thing that happened, and that happened way back with Grand Theft Auto 3, really.
Yeah. And then like I guess, I mean, I guess the Wii technically was a big change at the time. It brought motion controls.
Sure,
but
then, it didn't stick.
Yeah, then motion kind of like even the Rock Band, like that kind of instrument games too. Like those came and they were popular, then they went.
Extra peripherals.
Yeah, like so. I
mean,
it's
not as big as it was. It's not as big as not as permanent as a different way of making games, which like with
that's
open
the thing.
world.
Like VR is like a whole another step. Yeah.
And then before that, it was 3D, which was probably the biggest thing that the industry has ever had. And I mean, that completely rewrote how you built games, how you experienced games, and everything like that. So VR is, in a lot of ways, that next thing. But because it has that extra peripheral, because the experiences need to be almost tailor-made for it in order for it to take full advantage of it anyway. Yeah. I don't see it being exactly what we need right now. Like, I think it's going to be cool. A lot like, 3D TV was cool and everything like that. But I think it's going to be one of those things that, maybe there's a couple games you play on it and like, oh man, this is awesome. But at a certain point, you're going to be like, I'm just going to go back to a controller and a TV screen because I have a kid I have to take care of.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like,
I can't totally shut myself off from the world because doing that means that I'm neglecting my responsibilities or something like that.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I guess you can't get too immersed, and like, I guess that could be what happened with that. But we could all be calling up lawyers like that Bethesda guy.
Yeah, like that guy suing Bethesda. For
yeah,
immersion.
I'm not.
We're all
gonna put
addicted.
Yeah, I'm not
addicted
gonna.
to VR.
Yeah, I'm not going to be putting myself through that embarrassment.
My child starved to death because I was immersed in VR.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I've been on Planet Jakku.
All right, so that's
Imagine
VR.
Star Wars VR.
Oh
Damn.
man,
Oh man, that would be.
amazing.
Okay.
All right, maybe we'll see movie theaters. Maybe instead of 3D glasses, they give you a 3D a VR system, and that's the future of movie theaters.
Yeah, that'd be better.
Those
honestly.
would be gross. It would be so gross putting on somebody else's VR headset.
Yeah, that's
so they
true.
just-
Unless they're all brand new headsets, that you just throw them away or keep them. Yeah, you keep it, kids.
All right, so let's move on to a game that just got delayed, but is still coming out in early 2016.
Yeah, we're hoping, man.
Uncharted 4, A Thief's End, is coming out in April for the PlayStation 4. And this is going to be you guys talk about this a little bit because I'm going to check it out, but I'm not as certainly not as hyped about it as you guys are.
Well, Ryan, I just want to say thank you for one thing. Like, you said the game, and you actually said the game's name correctly. A Thief's End. A Thieves' End, whatever. Like,
A Thieves' End.
because, like, several articles I've read, and I don't know if you guys heard about this. Someone had reviewed, like, Uncharted, supposedly it was Uncharted 4 gameplay, and when they put it out, it turned out it was, like, Uncharted 2 remastered. And they legitimately thought it was Uncharted 4, and they were, like, giving it shit somehow because, like, Uncharted 2's subtitle is called Among Thieves.
Yeah.
And, like, I've seen articles, like, call it Uncharted 4 Among Thieves. It's like, dude.
Oh, really?
Like, how do you mess this up?
Yeah, I know.
It's, like, just something they look over or something, or because the names, I guess, are similar. But
Yeah, they are kind of similar,
but
but still, come on, get your act together.
But, like, I don't know. The gameplay thing was sad.
People looking at Uncharted 2 and thinking
Yeah,
it's...
well, this person did like this, and the guy claimed he was an Uncharted veteran, and it's like apparently you're not, dude. If you think that's Uncharted 4,
Yeah, I mean,
because like anyone who's played or seen Uncharted 2 knows what Uncharted 2 looks like.
yeah, I mean, even me.
Like, yeah, so it's like, come on now. But yeah, I mean, what is there to say, man? Like this, like at this point, like pretty much since Uncharted 2, like it's been pretty much Sony's big franchise or their big blockbuster thing, not Naughty Dog's thing. It's what made them famous, dude. Like it kind of, they had a good history already. They had Crash Bandicoot and they had, Jak and Daxter, both very well received and good franchises. But like Uncharted was Naughty Dog's first step into like going down more of a realistic path, making like less cartoony graphics and going with real human characters and
Less bombastic story.
Yeah, well, I mean, they Uncharted kind of has that bombasticness, just because it's in action. There's a lot of explosions and Nathan Drake falling and stuff.
It's
but,
like a Indiana Jones,
like
video
right.
game. Yeah.
I believe they actually said some of their inspirations were Indiana Jones and National Treasure. I believe too was one of
Nick
them.
Cage.
Sure.
Yeah, some of those, and some of those like 30s, 1930s like adventure serial flicks, like black and white.
Yeah.
Like they wanted to have like a fun but relatable, and like something I haven't brought up too much yet is I think what like kind of made me connect to Uncharted was Nathan, like, and it's kind of how they promoted it, but I wasn't really gaming as much when it was first being promoted. Was that like the character of Nathan Drake? Like he was supposed to be just an everyman, like he doesn't have any armor. He's not like that muscular or anything. He's just some dude like going into an adventure and like always escaping
and murdering everybody with AK-47s.
Well, skin of his teeth. Yeah, but the thing is, like even playing the originals, like you can't take many bullets. Like you're done. Like unless you're playing in like. Even like easy mode, like you're still like you have to take cover. You can't like go around like Max Payne just blowing everyone down. You don't have any bullet time.
Yeah.
Whatever. But like when Uncharted first came out, like there wasn't really a lot of games that were doing that. There was always like these big jacked up Marine dudes,
yeah.
and like, you know, I think like they actually kind of started that whole trying to go for more like realistic,
grounded,
relatable characters, and not like, you know, more even like look at the Gears of War characters, like they're, you know, they're
oh yeah, no,
big, beefy,
totally
muscular, but
everyone was a space marine.
yeah,
Master Chief, Gears of War, Marcus Phoenix.
yeah, like things like that. So I think it kind of just showed, you know, a different perspective of where you can take gaming and how you can actually make just, you know, seemingly like, I guess you could say that's like a boring character when you first look at it, but
Yeah.
you know, it was also like you could relate, and I mean they did a good job with the acting and, you know, bringing the characters to life really. But you know, this is the end of a franchise. Like they have a lot of pressure riding, and you know, we were talking about in the Gamescast, like if I know they've had a tough development cycle, and I'm nervous, like kind of like hoping like they don't somehow screw this up, but I don't know, everything I've seen looks pretty awesome. Like they're gonna dive deeper into the characters.
You think they're actually gonna end the franchise?
All right, I personally think that Naughty Dog wants to end the franchise. Like they've said so. They want to. That's what they're calling it, a thief's end. Like I think this is going to be the end of Nathan Drake's story, unless like, you know, I know you've said it before, Ryan. Maybe like if they make a shit ton of money off this game. And,
so I'm assuming
you know,
that I don't know if you know this or not, but Sony owns Uncharted.
Yeah.
Okay. So
yeah, that's what I mean.
If Naughty Dog says they don't want to do anymore, they can still make more Uncharted games.
Yeah.
It just wouldn't be a Naughty Dog game.
Yeah. No, I know.
Okay.
A different studio could take it over.
Okay.
But
I just wanted to make sure that they didn't say that it was the end of the Uncharted franchise. They were just saying that this is probably the last Naughty Dog.
Yeah,
Uncharted.
like as far as Naughty Dog goes, I don't think they're going to make any more Uncharted.
Okay.
Like whether Sony decides like they need to make another iteration, like
yeah,
you know, who knows? But like if they end up ending the series perfectly, like, you know, why bother? Like let it
well,
rest on top.
Let's actually go off. Let me actually comment on that. Excuse me. Finding a way to end a series perfectly, regardless if it's a game, a movie, a book, anything, is an extremely difficult thing to do because you want to try to appeal to the masses, your fans, to end it in a nice, neat chapter, specifically if it's a storied franchise like Uncharted, because they're all going to be sad that these characters are going and they want a proper send-off, or at least one that the story's content provides. But the reason I'm not nervous about Uncharted is because it's a Naughty Dog game. Naughty Dog has a great track record. They historically have seemed to always make very good games. So that's one of the reasons I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking for this action-adventure game with Nathan Drake. I'm looking to see what the story brings to all of the characters that we've gotten to know this time.
You're looking forward to the conclusion.
Well, not just to the conclusion. I'm just looking forward to this game, I would say. The conclusion, yes, I want it to end perfectly.
Yeah.
But I also want to see how these characters have evolved a step further.
But
I want to see...
It's not just about story, though. Like, from what I've seen, like, they've taken cues from what they did with The Last of Us, and it's going to be a lot deeper of a gameplay experience, too. And, like, I feel like people do get the wrong impression that these games don't have deep gameplay, because... to me, they do a lot of things that a lot of other third-person action games don't do.
Okay.
So, like, I think the areas are going to be bigger. They've already said this is going to be like the biggest Uncharted game. We're probably going to see a lot of different areas. That's another thing. Like, they're very good at making like every area look awesome. And, you know, that's part of they take linear and they use it to their advantage.
Okay.
And they're good at making a really big, wide scope. So even though it's linear, they kind of hide it in some ways because it seems like you're in this big place.
Yep.
Even though, you know, it's kind of a direct path. But, you know, like they've added some stuff that I can't wait to play, and like the feedback from the beta seems good. So
cool.
No, it does. I mean, even just looking at the trailers that have been released so far, I mean, the action looks superb. I mean, it looks like it's going to be a really good game. So this is also a game I'm really looking forward to, Ryan. I want to see, like I said before, I want to see the next chapter in the story. I want to see how they conclude it, and just take it from there.
So next up on our list is something that I think we're all looking forward to, and that's Mass Effect Andromeda, which we don't have a whole lot of information about it. We do know that it's scheduled to release holiday 2016. We'll see if that pans out.
Oh, they said holiday?
Yeah, I think
yeah,
so.
it's the fourth quarter of 2016, so
Yeah.
it's about a whole year away.
Yeah, so we'll see what pops up at E3 and all these game conferences coming up. If we don't see too much, then it's probably a good indication it's going to be delayed.
I think like the only big or semi thing I heard was that it's going to be in a new universe.
Yeah, so it's going to be
New characters,
the Andromeda
like-
universe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's where that's specifically where the name comes in. So it'll be interesting to see how that's different than where it has been in Milky Way. I don't mean to say Andromeda Universe. I meant to say Andromeda Galaxy.
Oh, whoops.
Yeah.
It all takes place in the same universe. But yeah, so
Another
it's gonna be,
universe,
Yeah, it's
mother-
going to be in the Andromeda Galaxy, not the Milky Way. And it seems like you're going to be playing not the Commander Shepard. You're going to be playing
A new
as somebody
character.
else. Yeah,
Yeah,
as
you're going
as
to be
new
playing
character.
a male or female character,
Yep.
as this game takes place after the third Mass Effect.
Yes.
Which is, and to me, Ryan, it's a little sad because, I mean, again, with the 3 Mass Effect games, I've played all of them. It's one of my favorite RPG series. I really had a great time playing as Commander Shepard because you got to make him into the model that you wanted, him and his crew. And they were really a diverse, interesting set of characters. The storyline was great. So where they go from here is really anybody's guess.
Well, maybe
Yeah.
it'll add a little bit more customization to your main character.
Well, yeah, I mean,
because they kind of lacked.
You're starting a new Commander Shepard here.
Yeah.
It may actually be a Commander Shepard because I heard some rumors that the
A
character
relative?
in this may be a relative of a descendant of the original Commander Shepard. So that could be interesting.
Dude,
And,
you're biased because of the last name, man.
yes,
Just
I
admit
am
it.
Commander Shepard, by the way.
Yeah, you like that? I think that we should start using that for your nickname.
Some people have. I've seen it pop up here and there. So
That's awesome.
if you want to, go ahead. I love how Rex says Shepard. That's my favorite. There's a super cut of that on YouTube. You can check that out. So Andromeda is going to take place in another galaxy, and from what I understand, it's going to be about actually colonizing that galaxy.
Yep.
You're going to be going from planet to planet, and what you're actually going to be doing is unknown yet, but there's going to be some sort of like the Milky Way galaxy is like falling apart or something like that, and you need to go to a new galaxy in order to survive as a human race. So I'm sure you're going to encounter new alien species, all sorts of new stuff. So I look forward to that, and hopefully they bring the Mako back.
The Mako. Did you enjoy driving that thing, or are you being
Yeah,
sarcastic?
man.
Honestly, I did not enjoy driving the Mako.
That's
That
what
was
most
actually one of
people
my
say.
bad. So that's why I'm a little worried about it. But again, maybe they made improvements. So
Wait, you're worried about? Didn't they take it out for 2 and 3?
Yeah, they did, but they're talking about bringing it back.
Nice.
But
Yeah.
no, man, those Mako parts aren't as bad as they sound. Everybody blows that out of proportion.
Yeah, I never got to that part. But
It's-
like, yeah, everyone complains about the controls of it, I guess.
Well, I mean, when you think about what they did to replace the Mako, just scanning planets and for
actually, I
resources and stuff.
actually had a lot more fun doing that.
Nah.
No, I did.
Now
I mean,
you're lying, Sai.
No, I am not lying. I am actually being truthful. I actually
So I
like
enjoyed the
Yeah.
scanning it.
casualization. All right. Sorry, sorry. Dude.
Wow. All right. I still like. I personally like the Mako. It was frustrating, extremely frustrating. Sometimes when you couldn't move the turret up and down, so you had
The
to.
turd.
What?
You just said the turd.
No, I didn't. I said the turret.
Did you hear the turd?
I heard. No, I had a feeling you said turret, but
All right.
I can see how you got turd out of it. I suppose
You couldn't. Well, it kind of is a turd because it doesn't move up and down.
I agree.
But you couldn't move it up and down, so you had to position the Mako on a cliff in order to shoot. It was dumb.
This is why Sai told me to skip the first
Yes,
one.
I totally understand why you wouldn't enjoy it, but I think it was a stupid thing that.
It's like why
needs to
not
come
try
back.
why not try to improve it instead? of just get rid of it?
Because it's
I know
cool
what
to
you're saying.
explore the planets, and there wasn't much to do on the planets, but I can see them if they take it the step further and making these planets super unique and
Yeah.
beautiful to land on and everything like that. Maybe put missions on there and stuff like that. I think it would be pretty cool.
Just don't be like Arkham Knight and make it dominate the whole game.
Yeah.
Like,
The Batmobile, the Mako-mobile.
But yeah, like, getting rid of the Mako is it'd be the equivalent of like the next Batman game suddenly has no Batmobile again.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm super excited for that, and I hope it comes out next year. So let's go on to another game that I also hope is going to come out next year, and I think it will, Mafia 3.
Hell yeah.
So they've had some gameplay out there and stuff like that, and it looks like a pretty cool game. Mafia 2 I didn't really get too much into, but I remember playing some of it, and I remember it being like a unique take on that. It's kind of like when Grand Theft Auto and everything were coming out. This was like more of a personal experience.
Yeah,
like,
sure.
Like a personal experience with the character and everything like that.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing was going back into the 40s and 50s or whatever and, like, reliving some mob life.
Yep.
Even though it was a completely fictional story, but a lot of, like, drama mob stuff, though.
Yeah, so this one's taking place in the 70s, like, it's like during or after Vietnam War. Something like that. I know.
Right, it's the character comes back from the Vietnam War.
Yeah, that's what it was.
So the main character is a Vietnam vet, and I guess there may be some sort of psychological thing going on where he's kind of like some sort of PTSD stuff going on, and it takes place in Louisiana and around New Orleans.
Yep.
And this is also a biracial orphan as well.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's a big part of it. Too.
Yeah, not traditional mafia when you think about it.
Yeah.
Not at all. They wouldn't. It's rare that they would even allow him into the actual
Well, I believe
mafia.
part of the thing is he's actually fighting against the mafia.
Right.
He's kind of creating his own kind of.
Yeah,
deal.
but from what I understand, he was part of the mafia, and they like turned on him or something like that.
Okay.
That's what I understand from at least the early coverage of it. Mm-hmm. We'll see what it actually turns out to be, but. Yeah, I think it's a cool, alternative open world that
Hell yeah.
could have like I said from the second game, a little bit more of an intimate story, and to see Louisiana, and I mean specifically New Orleans, like built in a game. That's probably the first time you've seen that.
Yeah,
I don't remember any other game that's had Louisiana built. In 3D.
Well,
I mean, fuck. I mean,
there's one game Infamous 2 has their own take on New Orleans, but like they named it New Marais, and it looked like it could be Louisiana, very colorful and stuff.
Okay,
but they didn't call it Louisiana. Like these guys are actually trying to
call it New Orleans.
Yeah, so
that I think that should be pretty cool. And
yeah, no, I'm excited, man.
And let's also not forget that the character is aided, who's by the way, his name's Lincoln Clay, is actually aided by 3 allies. One of them is actually none other than Vito Scaletta, who was in Mafia 2.
Yeah, which is awesome. Yeah, if there's going to be some continuation.
Yeah,
because,
so they're connecting the universe.
At the end of Mafia 2, I know you guys didn't get that far, but they left a little cliffhanger at the end, and I was like, dude, what's going to happen? Mm-hmm. So maybe we'll find out what ends up happening with that character. So,
yeah, maybe there'll be some payoff there.
But in Mafia 2, their issue was after a mission, you'd always in the minimap be directed to go to the next main story mission. Yeah. You would never there'd be other icons on the map you could go to, but they'd really only be stores to buy clothes, and you could start police chases and beat up civilians and stuff. And it was a pretty big world to explore, but you couldn't set custom waypoints really. They would always just direct you towards the next story mission. So
yeah, and from what I've
that's
heard,
kind of what it is. It was an excuse to make you still have to drive your car across this big map, but it was an open linear kind of thing.
Yeah, a lot of people complained about there really wasn't a whole lot to do in the open world. There is a Grand Theft Auto, which fills it with all sorts of stuff to do.
Yeah,
and we'll see what this one is, if it's a little bit scaled back or if it's.
From what I was hearing from one of the creators, he was saying that there's all this stuff you can do now in the open world. So
that's good.
I don't know. It looked like some improved gameplay, but
yeah, we'll definitely keep an eye on that, and hopefully that comes out next year like they're scheduling it to.
Yeah, we shall see.
So next on the list, we're going to talk about Horizon Zero Dawn, which is another game we don't have a whole lot of information about, but it has been announced and was very popular at E3, kind of a surprise from Guerrilla Games, who's been really just doing the
Killzone.
Yeah, who's really just been doing the Killzone franchise, and this is a third person, kind of like post-apocalyptic, where
I guess, yeah.
like the world is ended and now they're trying to rebuild, and there's like these robot dinosaurs, and you have a bow, and you're a badass chick.
Yeah,
going
you're
around
like this
killing-
badass chick who leads her own tribe or something.
Yeah,
and there's
it's
like these robot dinosaurs roaming around.
That's the
she
whole
has
thing.
to
It's
take
like
out.
there isn't a whole lot out there yet. So
Yeah.
for all these puzzle pieces to come together, I'm looking forward to seeing what this actually turns out to be.
Yeah, no, like this is like I think like you already said, like the most interest I have is to see like how Guerrilla Games does this, because
Yeah.
if you ever played the Kill Zones, they're very like kind of linear corridor-esque shooters.
Yeah, this looks
Good
very
shooters,
open.
but like like this looks open and kind of like a mix of open world, maybe RPG. I'm hearing.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean,
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be something like that.
So maybe I'm personally hoping maybe this what's her name? So I look up this girl's name. The
I'm not
Horizon
sure
Zero
what they
Dawn.
named her.
But hopefully she'll become one of the more popular mascots for Sony, because they could use that.
Yeah, it'd be cool. Like it definitely. Hopefully, it turns out to be a new franchise.
Players take control of Aloy, a hunter and
Aloy,
archer.
yeah. A hunter what?
A hunter and archer, she progresses through a post-apocalyptic land which is ruled by mechanized creatures, such as robotic dinosaurs.
Yeah,
Cool.
it's an original take, if nothing else.
Yeah, it looks-
I heard that some people, even one of my friends, complained about when he first saw it. He's like, dude, really? Robot dinosaurs? Come on. But
Well,
I've never seen that before.
yeah, it's different. So hopefully they don't make it too cheesy. But like the gameplay we saw, the way she had to bring that thing down, that first gameplay reveal, I mean,
Yeah,
it
it looks like there's going to be some
unique.
sort of survival element there too, because
Yeah,
she's
definitely.
killing that thing for presumably some sort of resource that she can use to make better weapons or help her tribe out. If there's going to be like a town management kind of thing where you have to keep people happy, who knows?
Yeah.
That's what's great about this is it looks really cool. There isn't a whole lot of information about it, so there's going to be some excitement still to come. Hopefully it comes out in 2016. It probably won't based on how little information there is and what they're showing, but I'm still hoping that it's going to come out.
Let's hope. Kind of
Yeah.
like No Man's Sky. Let's keep these hopes
Yeah,
alive, I guess.
keep the hope alive. All right, so we're going to do a quick Xbox One exclusive combo here with Scalebound and Quantum Break. So Scalebound's like kind of this combination of a bunch of different things. It looks like it's like kind of JRPG-ish with some like Devil May Cry combat mixed in and stuff like that with big dinosaurs that you ride around in.
Dragons,
and,
man.
Yes, big. Just talked about dinosaurs. Big dragons that you ride around on, and the main character has some sort of attitude.
Yeah, right. His
I
name's
don't
Drew,
know.
too.
Oh, is it Drew? All right.
It really is.
All right, so Drew's in this
Ironic.
Yeah.
game.
But, like,
I saw what was it, E3 that they showed?
Was it? It was either E3 or it was the Gamescom.
Yeah,
it
one of
might have
those.
been Gamescom.
One of those press conferences, they actually showed some gameplay of it.
Yeah.
And it looks pretty cool. I don't
Yeah.
know.
It looks unique.
Yeah, how excited I am about the protagonist. I don't know.
He does look kind of funny. But.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be really into the whole, angsty teen
Yeah.
persona that they're putting on him. I think I've seen that enough in video games.
Yeah,
but
I mean, it
don't know.
depends. It depends if they overdo it. If
Yeah.
it gets a little too Final Fantasy, then I'm like,
Yeah,
I don't know.
And I think the world looked cool. Like it looked huge, and
Yeah,
you could fly around on your dragon and
yeah.
go
There
to
seemed
different
to
areas.
be this cool like dynamic between the character and the dragon.
Yeah.
That seemed kind of original.
Yeah,
So I
Like,
think that's kind of what I was.
they attacked some sort of huge monster, right? The dragon
Yeah.
helped them beat that monster, and then there were the
I
little
think there was
guys.
like little creatures they were taking out too.
Yeah.
Like that were trying to surround them.
Yeah, so we'll
But-
see how that goes out. Again, not a whole lot there yet.
Yeah.
And it's scheduled to release in 2016. We'll see how it goes. Oh, that's a Platinum game, too.
Yeah,
So
it's a
that's
Platinum.
That's
yeah.
one of those. Platinum's doing a lot of stuff lately, and
Yeah, they are.
some of it's up, some of it's down, but hopefully this is one that they pull out and
Yeah, no,
give us a pretty good
Xbox,
experience.
The Xbox library in general could use, more diversity,
yeah.
and I think that's definitely the kind of game that could help them. Like it's made by a Western developer, so hopefully it'll be more of like, I don't know, because it seems like Xbox audience in general don't go for the JRPG type of
No.
thing. But maybe if it's Western, I don't know.
Yeah,
I guess we'll
that's
see.
like I think it's going to be like a good blend of something like that, but with some Western sensibilities to it.
Yep.
And speaking of new experiences on Xbox One, we can talk about Quantum Break here, because this is something else that Xbox doesn't really have a whole lot of, and that's like, narrative-driven action games.
Definitely. It's made by Remedy, the same guys who did Max Payne 1 and 2 and Alan Wake.
Yep.
Did you guys play any of those?
I played a lot of Max Payne 1, and a decent amount of Max Payne 2, and a little bit of Alan Wake.
Yeah, because that's another one I kind of still want to go back to is Alan Wake. I've heard, like, it looks unique, like how they did that, the mechanics. I think Remedy's kind of known as a studio that, like, they only do one game, like, per or 1 or 2 games a generation. They take forever to do their games.
Yeah, they take a long time.
But I don't know, like, some of the mechanics I've seen in these trailers they've shown, it looks very Max Payne-esque, but kind of in a different way. It looked like he stopped time completely, and you can, like, turn the camera around. Like, everything's just paused.
Yeah.
And, like, you can take guys. I don't know. It was cool.
Yeah, they kind of pioneered that slowing down time with Max Payne, and now they're kind of coming around full circle with giving you just way more control over it.
Yeah.
And putting, like, real-life actors in it.
Yeah, that's another thing. And like, a
doing
TV
the whole
show.
Yeah, the whole motion capture thing looks really great. And yeah, I hope it all comes together. I hope it's an interesting story and the gameplay holds up to match whatever kind of narrative they build around it.
Yeah, I think the biggest concern from some fans and myself, like, if this mechanic of just stopping time becomes, like, overpowered, makes it too easy, that could be, like, one concern.
Well, I listened to an interview in Sam Lake, who's literally Max Payne. If you look at his face, he's literally Max Payne.
Yeah.
He was saying that they balance that by having enemies that aren't susceptible to the time travel or have time slowing down and stuff like that. So
even if you pause other things, like, there'll still be enemies.
Yeah, from what I understand, there's going to be they balance it out. They do an okay job with that.
Yeah, because these guys, they have a lot of experience. So, like,
I have faith in them to figure it out.
Yeah, see, I don't know if it's like, I think in this case, even though it's story driven, I'm more interested in, like, how the gameplay pans out if it turns out to be a new kind of thing.
The biggest thing I'm concerned about is how they're going to blend this TV show into it, because in that same interview, I heard him kind of discuss that, and it's going to be like, gameplay, and then there's going to be like a 20-minute TV episode, and then gameplay,
really?
And something. I don't know how much it's going to be broken up like that, but
well, it sounds groundbreaking though, Ryan. That's one of the reasons I'm actually kind of interested in this.
It does sound groundbreaking, but at the same time, I kind of feel like
you could easily mess this up.
Yeah, if there's too much of if there's too much TV show, not enough gameplay, people are going to be like, this isn't a game, it's a TV show. And
or they'll say,
see that.
This isn't a TV show, this is a game.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, but then again, you Metal Gear Solid guys would watch those hour-long cutscenes, so just saying.
Yeah, that's true. But
I mean, I know not the most recent one.
It's not quite. Doesn't sound as quite in your face as this.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And this, I mean, again, this game is going to feature digital episodes that, interact with based on the player's choices. So again, I think it does have some multiple choice free will that goes attached to it. We'll see how that pans out. But again, I think this is something we need to pay close attention to.
Yeah.
Pay close attention. Hell yeah.
We'll definitely keep an eye on that.
Speaking of that, size 2 favorites.
Yeah, size big number 1 and number 2 on this list, Deus Ex and Hitman. So, Mr. Deus Ex and Hitman, what do you have to say about Deus Ex?
Well, Ryan, Deus Ex, Mankind Divided takes place after The Fall, which is a game that was released about. I want to say. I'm sorry, not The Fall. Deus Ex: Human Revolution. Excuse me.
2011, bro.
Right. This game is going to take place 2 years into the future, where after the events of Human Revolution, basically society has turned on the augmented individuals that Deus Ex is based on. Again, for those who are familiar with Deus Ex, it's action, it's espionage,
sci-fi.
It is sci-fi, and it's also a role-playing game as well.
Adam Jensen,
yep. There is the return of Adam Jensen. This time he is actually chasing He's actually working, with an international coalition to stop terrorist attacks. One of them being one of the terrorist groups, is demanding equality for augmented individuals because society has grown prejudiced based on the events that took place in the last game. So I mean, again, I've always been a fan of the Deus Ex games. Maybe it's because I like stealth games with a good storyline.
Yeah.
Again, the last game showed us how the future is really dystopian because there's rampant poverty, there's drug use.
Yeah.
It really showed that in the future life isn't going to be even with technological advances. It doesn't mean the world's going to improve.
Yeah,
the world really felt like Blade Runner in a sense.
Yeah, it's had a very, very much a Blade Runner vibe to it, and Adam Jensen being an augment himself is going to be interesting where his loyalties are going to lie.
Right, and I also point out the reason Adam Jensen is an augmented individual is because he was working security for a company and was brutally attacked and nearly died, and he basically is one of the first augments.
Oh, yeah, that's
one
true.
of the first people who became an agent with augmented abilities.
Yeah, so based on your experience with Human Revolution, no, wait a minute.
Yeah, Human Revolution.
That was the first one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
the one that came out before this one. Yeah.
So based on your experience with that, do you think your choice on what side you land on is going to be your choice, or do you think that's going to be narrative driven?
I definitely think it's going to be I think it's mostly going to be your choice.
Okay.
The story and the choices you make are all going to be a little narrative driven, but it's really going to be based on your surroundings and who you interact with.
Okay.
From that storyline. So you're going to be presented with options, but you're going to have the choice of how to proceed, whether that's more of a renegade or more of a paragon, similar to what Mass Effect is in a sense.
Okay. Cool.
And the next game that's coming up is Hitman, the sequel to what else?
Hitman.
All right, guys.
Wait, is it just called Hitman?
It is just called Hitman.
Okay.
No name, no gimmicks, my friend.
Yeah, this seems to be the trend now, just launching sequels that just use the name, like Need for Speed, and I don't know, there's been a couple of them. Tomb Raider.
Exactly.
Dude, kind of like, I don't know, this goes into movies. You know, a lot of old school Star Wars fans, like, they refuse to call the Episode 4 A New Hope. They'll say, dude, when it first came out, it was just Star Wars.
Yeah.
So I call it just Star Wars.
Yeah, but in the title, not to get off track, it said A New Hope, Episode 4. So
Yeah, I mean, when it comes up at the beginning, it still said Episode 4.
But when they first advertised it, it was just
Star Wars. Yeah, so I get that. But
all right, I mean, I see that.
They just need to grow up and move on.
Right. Either way, it all equates to the same thing.
All right.
But going back
to
Hitman, once again, while I don't have too much of the plot, it continues into the next chapter where you play as you take control of Agent 47. Once again, he is being voiced by David Bateson, the only person who I think is qualified to voice Agent 47. He's done it for, what is it, Ryan? Every Hitman game in the series, I believe.
Probably.
And it's going to be interesting because Hitman is taking an episodic approach. What?
I don't know why he's laughing.
Yeah, seriously.
Ryan's face.
He's looking at me and laughing. I guess
face.
I have resting funny face.
No, you looked at me weird in that point, dude. Just keep
right.
going, Si.
Sorry.
All right,
like
basically,
just the way you say things sometimes, man.
What?
It's great.
I don't know.
All right, an episodic approach.
I can't help it sometimes.
All right, essentially, this is going to be kind of an episodic release, Ryan. I mean, when the game first comes out, it's going to be, I believe, about 6 missions.
Okay.
And a few other side story missions as well.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how they do this.
Yeah, but here's the thing. There's really no downloadable content. New missions are going to be added regularly as free updates because they felt like they thought it was unethical in a sense or not unethical, but they found it as the wrong approach for their fans. They wanted to actually just give us a game with the first 6 episodes. Then they want to continually give us updates free of charge that have new missions.
So you pay the $60 and then you just keep getting new episodes.
That's what it sounds like.
So is this digital only or like?
No, this isn't digital only.
Huh.
So
is that ever released?
Maybe you have a little bit more information, because when this was originally announced, there was like tiers. Like you could pay $60 for the whole thing, and then there was like a $35 version that was just the first 6, and then you could buy a season pass to if you wanted more. I imagine that's probably still how it is. No information.
What I actually heard is that it's just being released in different stages. It's being said that no season pass will be available, as the company considered the addition of paid content a wrong approach.
Oh, okay, so maybe they changed it.
I believe they did.
Kind of like how they changed the pre-order bonuses for Deus Ex.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I remember that whole thing. Yeah, because like there were so many different versions.
Yeah.
Right. Well, that was a little bit more of controversial, if I recall correctly.
Oh yeah,
I think this is pretty I mean, at least when I read about it, I was like, it seems a little weird.
Enter a world
to me.
of assassination.
It seems a little weird for them to. I don't know. I still
this
think
whole
it's kind of weird.
It's weird, but I mean, again, maybe it'll work. Maybe they're trying to revolutionize the game industry.
Yeah, but how do you review this? How do you play this game on day one and issue a score when you only have the first 6 missions of what could be an amazing experience of like 50 huge amazing missions, or it could end up being like 3 extra missions that stunk.
Those first 6 missions better impress people.
Yeah, I mean, those 6 missions are going to be pretty good, because that's basically what they're have to bank on word of mouth anyway to be.
People are going to have to love it, and then they're going to have to wait. I mean, I guess they're going to give other stuff for free.
Right.
But
and I guess, guys, maybe let me correct myself. I guess what's going to happen is the game is first going to be digital, but then what's going to happen is that at the end of the year, I think a retail version is going to be coming out.
It's kind of Telltale and Resident Evil Revelations 2 style.
Yeah.
But again, I mean, let's see what happens. I mean,
there's going to be like an online thing too, where you're competing against each other for contracts.
Yeah, see, Absolution
like a weekly hit or something like that, from what I understand. So, like I said, I think it's going to be interesting to see how this pans out, if it becomes something that can be applied to other games, or if other games should apply it. But I think we have to watch this one very closely to see how it actually ends up rolling out. Because, I mean...
Low interactive.
It could be... I don't know. From my point of view, it could be deceptive. Like, they could be selling you a $60 game and then not really delivering on the promise of a $60 game.
I mean, I do see your view with
my
that,
point
Ryan.
of view.
But yeah, exactly. But I mean, this is Square Enix. I mean, they are a very reliable developer, so I really think that we should give them the benefit of the doubt. But then again, maybe that's because I'm a Hitman fan. Maybe it's because I love this series.
Seems to be Square Enix's thing lately. They're doing that with Final Fantasy VII Remake, Hitman. Like, what's going on here, man?
Everything's episodic. They did it with Resident Evil.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's Capcom. My bad.
Well,
bad.
I don't think Capcom's already been in the toilet for a bit.
Yeah.
Oh boy. But
we'll see how it goes.
But then again, I mean, Deus Ex Mankind Divided is also being published by Square Enix as well.
Yeah, and they were the ones that had that weird pre-order campaign.
Yeah, all Square Enix.
So
like I said, man, if you want to see a big packed game, Sakai, play The Witcher.
Yeah, which you are going to be because you own
which
it
I
now.
already have started. Thank you very much.
Yeah, all right. So we'll see how this goes, and you'll definitely hear my opinions on it, and you'll certainly hear Sai's as we move forward, and Drew's too if he ends up picking it up.
Which is not likely.
Wow, Sai.
Wow. All right. So that's actually going to wrap up the games we had on our list for the most anticipated of 2016. Now, that's certainly not the only games that are coming out in 2016.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know. Like, I'm sure we're going to hear about more of them.
And let's not forget they're all also going to be downloadable episodic games. I know Telltale is releasing a new series of The Walking Dead.
Yeah,
shown.
I know Gears of 4 is going to be Gears of War 4, excuse me, is also going to be released. And again, I mean, I'm also a sports fan, so you know I'm going to check out the new sports titles of this year. Yes, you guys all have to
deal
live
with
through
this
it.
nonsense.
Yes.
Maybe you should have Cy do a review on like the baseball game that comes out.
Yeah.
Yeah, except you guys don't like baseball. I am a huge baseball
That's
fan.
why you have to review it. So
Yeah.
you have to convince us to
Pick it up.
deal with it.
And bust my balls at the same time.
Yeah. 4 balls, right? That's baseball?
Yes, Ryan, that is.
Yeah, I mean, there's some honorable mentions. Sai said Gears of War 4.
Dude, that indie game Firewatch. Like, I don't know if you
Yeah.
guys have heard much about it, but it
What
seems
is Firewatch?
I don't know, dude. It's like this guy who's going out into the mountains alone. He only has like a walkie-talkie or some kind of radio communicator, and he's like investigating like these fires that have happened. It's like either this campsite
Yeah,
or
it
just
looks
the
like
mountains.
some sort of mystery thing.
Yeah, and like you can only talk to this one girl, and that's the only person you have contact with.
Yeah,
I don't
she's
know,
on
so
the radio, right?
It's all first person.
Right.
Yeah, it looks very immersive, is what
Yeah.
it feels
Right.
like. You're
So
And let's also not forget the other games that are coming out include Star Citizen, Tom Clancy's The Division, and there's one game, Ratchet and Clank.
Oh, yeah,
that's
that's
actually getting a new title.
you know what? That's what I heard. Uncharted's new release date is the same day as The Division.
Oh, no.
That could be interesting.
Yeah, that could be, because that's...
And of course, The
big
Last
game.
Guardian for people who are
That is true.
interested in
Yeah, we'll
that,
see how
and
that-
the possibility of Crackdown 3.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Crackdown 3.
Yeah, no, there's a lot coming out this
Yeah,
time.
it could be bigger than this year, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's shaping up to be that, but I'm sure we'll have some that get pushed back into 2017.
Oh no, it's obvious. It's always going to be inevitable. So
Who knows? Maybe Rockstar will finally announce whatever they're working on.
Oh, yeah,
it's
there's been those
allegedly
leaked
it is
things
the
of
new
Agent, right?
Dude, yeah,
Yeah.
you saw that? Yeah.
Yep.
Because they apparently they never like called the game off.
Yeah.
They've just like it's been radio silence.
Right. Well, with Rockstar, we're anticipating either Bully 2, GTA 6, or hey, what we're still hoping for, Red Dead Redemption. It's
Well,
the
yeah,
sequel.
that's what I think most fans are looking for, like hoping for from Rockstar.
Yeah.
Right. Well, actually, I think it's that or the new GTA. To
Well,
be
dude,
honest with you.
they're still pumping out GTA 5 content. I
Yeah,
really don't
a
think
new
we're going to see.
GTA isn't going to
Really,
come
when
out.
is the new GTA 5? Are they releasing any more episodic missions?
I don't know.
No
They've-
single player stuff. They're just supporting the online.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
the
and the-
online is
right.
like weekly supported.
Yeah.
Still to this day. So.
Yeah, so
I
it'll
just-
be interesting to see what 2016 actually brings.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In
Let's end
terms
the
of
cast, boys.
announcements and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
We'll see, man. VR, that's going to be the big thing, though.
Yeah, that'll definitely be the big thing.
Yeah, who's going to buy the system first?
I don't know. It depends what the PS4 VR ends up being, because that's probably going to be, for me anyway, the most accessible, unless Oculus comes out with some sort of cool thing. Then there's Steam VR too, which,
Yeah, see, there's going to be like all these different VRs coming.
Stealth released Half-Life 3 with Steam VR.
Yeah.
That will
Yeah.
get me to buy it.
Right?
All right, yeah. Oh, and wait, Ryan, Legend of Zelda for Wii U.
Yeah, we'll see. That was actually one thing I was thinking of putting on this
should've.
is the NX.
But you're
because that
scared,
could
aren't
come
you?
out. That could come out next year.
Yeah, see, that's another thing. The NX, like, if that releases in the middle of this whole year,
Yeah.
like, amongst everything else.
I decided not to really bring it up because we don't really know enough about it yet.
Yeah.
But it could be late next year, or it could be early 2017, or even late 2017.
Well, hopefully it stays on the Wii U, like, for those Wii U guys
Yeah,
holding out hope.
I think if it's going to be anything, it's going to be a cross release. It's going to come out on both, just like Twilight Princess did. And that's another game coming out next year is Twilight Princess HD on the Wii U, which should be pretty cool. I mean, there's just
relive some memories.
tons of games coming out that almost at this point, when you
Star
look at
Fox.
this list, is going to be like make 2016, 2015, which everybody thought was an awesome year, almost pale in comparison.
Yeah,
if all
I mean,
these
if these
games come
games-
out and
yeah.
these are and they're aces,
If these games end up being all, like, hits,
yeah.
or at least we get a few hits, you know, because there was some disappointments this year, too.
All right, so here's to 2016.
Yeah.
All right,
cheers,
to
boys.
2016, people.
So you can check us out. Obviously, we're on YouTube. We're on iTunes. You could get at us and on the GamerHolics.com forums there. There's a forum post where you can talk to us. You can chat in the comments, chat on YouTube. We also are on Tumblr. We have the megagamecast.tumblr.com. You can actually submit anonymous questions. So if you don't want us to read your name on the air or anything like that, you can get at us there. And I hope 2016 is a great year for gaming and a great year for the Mega Gamecast. Yeah.
All right.